One day, we had the idea to tie up my friend's leg to the tree in the backyard. But at one point, he just said, like,
ow, ow, my leg hurts.
And we, like, kind of thought it was funny, and we recorded it. So we, like, put it in the video and, like, slow-moed it. Like,
Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast. Rated R.
Criminal charges, bro. Guess like we're avoiding the shark.
No, today Turbo Neck Day.
I'll give you a kiss. You give me your number.
That checked out a ton, dude. Tell me you felt.
We're Americans. We're the ones that are descendants from the 1776 musket-bearing motherfuckers.
Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast, where we collect experiences as badges, memories as treasures, and stories as wealth. In this episode, we tell stories of faking a murder, fainting, and Bloodmobiles. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast. So who do we have on today?
Hey, I'm Calen.
Say your full name.
Calen Coates.
Alex Vollmann.
Andrew Baer.
Nice. Okay, so first, dude, you were just telling us, Andrew, about a special unsanctioned, unplanned story that we have to get into about something about a classified.
Oh, yeah.
Do we want to start off with a bang?
Well, yeah. I haven't really had to tell this story yet, so I'm trying to think through it. We were shooting out in the canyons in Odessa Canyon out near Barstow, kind of middle of nowhere, crunch mode, get stuff done, getting shots. And then while we're like mid-take, we hear bang, 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 like right outside the cave. You know, I go into not panic mode, but like high alert, gotta take care of people, see what's going on. So like, all right, I'll be right back. So I run out of the cave, I go down the little hill, and then there are these guys who are on their like dirt bikes who are just like out shooting guns in the canyon. My problem is I just don't want people to be like shooting guns and acting irresponsible right next to where we're shooting, because that's a huge problem.
Yeah, the right kind of
big,
shooting.
yeah,
the right kind of shooting for the shoot.
Good clarification. Yes. So I approach him, and the first thing I say is, hey, like, what's your name?
He says,
I
Alex
introduce
Vollmann.
myself.
Shots fired.
Oh, wow. Anyway, I approach him, we introduce ourselves, and then the first thing I say is like, hey, would you mind, like, not shooting your gun here next to, like, where we're filming? And then his response was so unreasonable. He got really upset at me.
Whoa.
And so intense that I figured, oh, he's got to be like on something. Like, this is not a normal reaction. His response was like, who the heck do you think you are to tell me where I can shoot my guns? And he started just like blowing up at me, right? The way he responded was like, oh, I've got military training, bro. I'm here with my kids. And he had like his 10 to 13-year-old kids there with him and a couple other friends. And he's like, I've got kids. Like, I'm not gonna be stupid. Like, we're gonna be safe. But then just the way that his attitude was and the way he was holding the gun, not like facing down at the ground, not like he was pointing it at me, but still it's just like a little
He's got
reckless.
it at a 45-degree angle. He's like, I could be pointing at the ground. I could be pointing at you.
My other friend from the shoot came down with me, and he's from Texas, and he has guns, and he's smart with them and knows what he's doing. So he was the common ground person to talk about guns. So there was a point of interest there. And then one of the other guy's friends was helping cool down the hothead and be like, yeah, sorry, like, it's kind of messed up. You guys don't want us to shoot here, but whatever, you were here first. All right, let's ride. And then they all rode off, and luckily they didn't like come back, but we were worried about them for a little bit.
If they came back with reinforcements.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man.
Just for some dudes making a short film in the cave, like, they're out to get us.
I like how he ends it with,
Let's ride.
let's ride. Rides off into the night.
I may have
like some
improv that
trope.
part, but
Right.
yeah, we won't look into it.
Calen, you said, Andrew and Spencer, I forgot how many unreasonable people you guys have had to deal with over the years, right? With
This is
filmmaking
true.
and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like that's every story I hear from you guys.
Yeah, I concur.
Okay, let's kick things off with a story called Kick the Cone. Okay, Calen, do you remember this?
I do vividly, actually.
Dude, okay, so we're in the CMA parking lot, you know, and that's how we all met here. We all went to Biola University. We did the film program, and I don't know. It was at night. It was Calen and I, and for some reason I got hyped about something. You know, it's a very normal occurrence. So I was like, yeah! And I just started running, and I saw this cone, and I just ran at it sprinting, and I kicked the cone. Next thing I know, I am flying through the air, dude, and I just eat on the concrete, dude. And I slammed so hard. Calen was like, oh!
It was a cone suspiciously in the middle of a parking lot late at night, and Spencer's thought was, I'm going to kick this.
I'm going to kick that thing as
And then
far
you
as I
see
can.
This tall guy just go flying, doing a somersault onto the hard concrete. And this cone was old and weathered, so it didn't like bend like a rubber
we were
thing.
like, what
It
is this?
shattered.
So we
It
lift up the
shattered?
shattered.
Oh, yeah, this thing
'cause
was
it
like,
old,
how big
cardboardy
was
kinda-
this thing?
It was just
Was
a
it-
standard road cone.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you know when they're super old, plasticky, and they're
Yeah.
cracking? That's what it was.
They're, like,
so the thing
folding
is
off
cracking.
and- yeah.
And so we're like, what was that? We're like, and I'm like limping over. We lift up the cone, and there is a steel rod sticking out of the
yeah.
pavement. And
Yeah.
now it is bent.
Game over.
Wow.
So I don't know if it was bent before, but it was completely bent, bro.
That cone,
It
would have
wasn't bent
reversed you.
before.
No,
It
dude,
was
and
not.
I got bent, dude. It's
Yeah.
I will never kick a random cone again because, dude, it's like, how could we have known that, dude? What was your reaction when you saw that?
I mean, that's kind of our relationship in college.
What?
You getting really hyped about things and sometimes kicking cones and breaking your toe.
Did that happen on other occasions?
No, but I feel like that was a classic Spencer reaction, getting very hyped about things.
Yeah, just acting unreasonable.
Late night talks about whatever.
Yep.
Especially girls.
And if you don't want to go to formal with me, that's fine too. No pressure.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about how we all got into film real briefly, because we all went to film school. So we'll start with Andrew.
I grew up making skits on the family camcorder with my sister. And it was fun just doing random videos in our apartment. And I didn't know how to edit or take footage from the camera into the computer. There's a little slider on the front that closes the lens. And that was how we would cut between scenes. But you would still
Nice.
hear us in the background. We're like,
Okay, go move this thing. Go.
and then when it comes back up, it's like we're ready to go again. So that was how we edited and made our skits.
Nice. What made you want to do that?
I think we're just bored, and my dad just had like camera gear around the house because he worked in media. So
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
How about you, Alex?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of similar story. Like I had friends that would come over and we'd make like movies on the day. We'd kind of plan out the whole thing, like figure out what the script was going to be. Like, okay, you say this to him and then you fight him and that kind of thing. And there's actually one day that we had the idea to tie up my friend's leg to the tree in the backyard. Stop. Looking back on it, I kind of feel a little bit bad because he was kind of stuck there for a while. You're trying to make some story around it.
And you just, see you later.
But at one point, he just said like,
Ow, ow, my leg hurts.
and we like kind of thought it was funny and we recorded it. So we like put it in the video and like slow-moed it. Like, hopefully he thinks that's funny now. I don't know.
That's awesome. What about you?
Oh, I've always loved like big fantasy or action movies like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or like different animation things like Pixar. Like Toy Story 2 was like my favorite movie as a little kid.
That's an epic movie.
Oh, absolutely. Super underrated.
You really are Stinky Pete, aren't you?
And when I discovered stop motion around middle school, I thought it was like the most amazing thing ever. And my parents bought me, I thought it was way too extravagant of a gift as a little 6th grade kid or whatever. But they bought me, a cheap little camcorder and I started doing my own stop motion stuff. And then as my friends saw what I was doing, they're like, oh, we want to do that too. Can we go make a movie? Can't really make stop motion with a lot of people.
No,
I
you
mean, it's a
can't.
little awkward.
It's a meditative
It's
experience.
a very meditative solo experience.
Yes.
So I started doing like live action stuff, which inevitably was like, let's shoot guns at each other in the forest, which then got me into like editing and VFX. And so, one thing led to another. I eventually went to film school and I still do it now.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome. Everyone knows that I got into filmmaking through making skateboarding videos and just trying to capture the hype, But Calen, let's talk about
Faking a murder.
this is a film story from you in high school.
I discovered before film school the hard way that you were supposed to get film permits. I don't always do it. Maybe I haven't learned my lesson, but the thing was, I was in high school making a short film, actually the precursor to my feature film. And the thing is, there is this very pivotal scene where the two main characters, these high school kids, are driving, and they accidentally hit a bicyclist as they're driving. and it's in the middle of the night, and they get out of the car, they're freaking out, arguing with each other about what to do, and then the bicyclist wakes up, and the girl has her dad's taser, and she tases the guy out of shock when he starts to get up asking for help. And that's the scene. That was the scene in the short film, and then that's what translated into my feature.
So trying to film this, nothing could go wrong.
In
right?
high school, the difference between high school and college is that in high school, I filmed that scene verbatim without a film permit in the middle of the night with my friends and a very small crew. And we're filming in kind of this more rural area, and cars keep passing us as they see two kids arguing over a person who is splayed out on the ground, writhing in pain underneath a Prius, saying,
Help me, taste.
and cars keep pulling up, being like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And we're like, "Hey, yeah, we're okay. We're just making a movie or whatever." And then we start hearing sirens in the distance. And we're like, "Well, there's a highway like a mile or two down the road. It's probably just on the highway, accident or something." We start hearing a little bit more. We're like, "Okay, we got to work around the sirens. Go now. Yeah. And then they start getting closer, and eventually it's like, okay, we can't keep rolling. And then you start seeing sirens in the shot. It's like production value, keep going. And then they show
And then
up.
the cops show
right
up.
there. It's like 3 ambulances and a fire truck, and we're like,
Oh no.
They were pissed. They're like, "What are you doing?" Well, because they found out like immediately when everybody stood up and was totally fine that it was just a bunch of kids making a video.
Yeah.
And they're just like, "What are you doing?"
How dare you?
Thankfully, we had we're 16, we don't know what we're doing card to play.
Yeah.
Like, had that happened as an adult, I would have been fined several grand, I'm sure. Because, it was such a serious response.
So they just gave you a stern talking
They
to.
gave us, a stern talking to, let us off with a warning. And ever since then, we got film permits.
Did you guys use a real taser?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Actually,
And was it fake blood?
classified.
I feel like that's pretty fortunate to only get away.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
because we weren't in California. This was in Oregon, like in a more rural area. I think had this happened in LA, like there's such like a film culture in SoCal that like they'd be like, you should know better. But in Oregon, it's like, oh, that's cute. You're making a movie. Mm-hmm. So it's like a little different.
In LA, you'd be in juvie within hours.
Probably. I don't know.
Okay, Alex, talk about how much you love film, dude.
Oh my gosh. So, can I give a little precursor to it?
Dude, curse it. Let's go.
So, I grew up in Florida, and I've classified sometimes. Is that giving it away, I guess?
Please.
I was trying to give so I was thinking about how when I moved to California, I saw like those Bloodmobiles and stuff, and they were like giving people just like ice cream. And I was like, dude, this is like liquid gold that I've got coursing through my veins.
Wait,
you got to give me a little more than that.
Just to be clear, we're talking about like normal medical blood donor
giving blood.
vans.
Yeah. Talking about like the blood trucks, not like vampires or something like that.
The Bloodmobile. It's
Yeah,
the
the
blood.
Bloodmobile.
It's the
It's
gang
not-
members.
it's not
It's the
Dracula.
bloods driving
Just go
around
in and
trying to
then
get
give
your
them blood, and it's a...
Usually it's a van. I mean, they've got this
the
thing.
blood red van. Do you remember the blood red van?
No.
I think it was from Homeward Bound or something. It was like the villain.
You gotta run them down like the dogs they are.
But yeah, so in Florida, they actually give you movie tickets if you give blood. And they're like right out front by the movie theater.
Perfect location.
Yeah, perfect location. And I mean, the thought process is all there. Like, yeah, you give some blood. You're kind of more chill now, and you want to like relax and watch a movie. So it's kind of perfect. And so, yeah, I guess you could say that I've like given my blood for movies.
Nice. A level of dedication few people will go through.
Exactly.
Yeah. Calen, can you grab me another Mike's Hard, please?
Oh.
Whoa. Okay, so Calen does not do well with needles, though. Should we talk about this?
I do not. I come from a long line of men who pass out when I give blood, which I didn't really realize that until recently. You see, I was never actually able to give blood during college because they would always have like the Bloodmobiles.
Okay, hold on. I'm thinking about Bloodmobile. It's like a snowmobile, but instead of riding on snow, it courses through blood. Bloodmobile.
That's good.
That sounds deathcore.
Deathcore to me.
It's such a villain vehicle, dude. The Bloodmobile.
I'm just picturing like Nicolas Cage with the fangs, like riding that, like in hell or something.
That's a mid-journey prompt for you.
Yeah, right.
Get something
Dude,
out of
that
that.
sounds hilarious.
Oh,
we should do
gosh.
that.
So I was giving blood, or no, I was not giving blood, excuse me. I was getting blood work done at my doctor a couple years ago. And I was chatting with the nurse. Everything was going well. They're like, you're in perfect health. You're so great. I'm like, oh, thank you. I feel good about myself. They have me sit down in this chair. They get me with the little IV or whatever in the arm. We're chit-chatting. And next thing I know, I'm starting to feel really sweaty. She's like, you okay? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I don't know. It's just kind of hot in here. And then I wake up. It's been like a minute. And like I'm like splayed out on their chair or whatever. The nurse is like frantically pressing the help button. And I'm just like groggy. I'm like, what? She's like,
Oh, you're good. You're awake.
she's like been trying like to fan me because, oh, this is the worst part of it. She's trying to fan me because she's been reaching for the help button for the past like 60 seconds because she's trying to hold me so I don't fall off the bench or chair, whatever it is I ever sit on. So she's like spread eagle. She's like reaching reaching for the help button as she's like holding onto the scruff of my shirt like,
Don't fall.
Don't fall.
Oh my gosh. How long were you out for?
I don't know, 30 seconds to
That's
a
a
minute.
pretty long time.
I mean, it may have been shorter than that, but it was long enough that I was like, okay, I can never do this again. And so now I have to have the walk of shame every time I go to the doctor and have blood work done where I'm like, hey, just so you know, I'm a wimp. I will pass out. But last time I did not pass out. I felt like a real adult.
That sounds
Nice,
like a
dude.
bodily response.
Oh, it is.
Though.
It's
Like
called
that's
the
not
Vegas
like
response.
you being a wimp.
No.
It's just like your body's
No.
like, no.
Okay, Andrew, let's talk about your first time fainting.
Yeah, so I was in 7th grade when I first passed out, and I had a total like 0 to 100 exposure to super graphic content that just did it for me. And that was where I learned like, oh, I don't do well with like overtly graphic content. And so what it was, because I went to public school, right? And
Oh,
so we had our
no.
like prelim sex ed in 5th grade, which is normal stuff. 7th grade also happened to include in the curriculum, let's show all the kids this video of like what it's like to give birth. Whoa. Right. Yeah. So they don't hold anything back. It's just a video of, you know, women giving birth in the hospital beginning to end. My little 7th grade mind just fell apart. Just
Wasn't
crumbled
ready.
under the pressure. So I was out. So I also just like just fell over on my side. You know, lights come on. Like 30 seconds later, I'm on the ground because it's just so like
You'd
sudden,
fallen
just
out
fall
of
to
your
the
seat.
side. I was so embarrassed. Oh my goodness, because you know when you're 12 years old,
it's
you're like
already awkward
self-conscious.
enough.
Like,
Yeah.
what's everyone gonna think? So I went to the nurse's office and then just like took the rest of the day off. But like, I was also surprised because like it's a weird sensation the
Yeah.
first time that you
Yeah.
like pass out. And you're like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
weird.
what to do with this.
You know, this bizarre, like weightless, foggy brained, and then
Yeah,
time has passed.
yeah,
Because I was not there.
Yeah. Blacked out for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I wouldn't want to be that teacher though. That's like, all right, we're gonna show the video again, and then it's like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. One of you will probably pass out and be unconscious by the
Well, I
end
mean,
of
you
this.
gotta wonder if they have like in the teachers' lounge, like running bets going of like, okay, how many kids do you think are gonna pass out or
Right.
vomit or run away
Well, that's
this
what
year?
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So this one's from a doctor's office. I went to go get my hearing checked, right? And they were like, okay, so now we're going to check your hearing. And I said, what? And then everyone laughs, dude. They're like, oh, you're so funny. You're so funny. And I was like, what? And they're like, okay, now we really need to check your hearing. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, do me a favor and leave a rating/review. 5 stars is a power play. Be sure to follow the show and keep up with me on social medias at Spencer Whiteout to stay up to date. As always, stay tuned, stay hyped. That's a wrap.
Inserting exclusive audio recording from the vault.
Yo, Jeremy, wait up. Don't pull down your pants because I'm filming.
They're just boxers.
There we go. All right, here we go. Do that awesome sound effect.
There you go.
And that's it.